Every day, one aging bridge between Ohio and Kentucky quietly decides how fast billions of dollars in goods move across the United States. You probably wouldn't notice it if you drove across it. But this single crossing carries one of the most important freight corridors in North America. The bridge is called the Brent-Spence Bridge.
Brent-Spence Bridge.
Brent-Spence Bridge.
The Brent-Spence Bridge.
Brent-Spence Companion Bridge.
And when it opened in 1963, it was built for a very different America. Back then, engineers expected around 80,000 vehicles a day to use it. Today, more than 160,000 vehicles cross it every single day, twice the original capacity. The result is predictable. One of the worst highway bottlenecks in the entire United States, and for decades, drivers, commuters, and freight companies have all been stuck asking the same question. How do you fix one of the most important bridges in the country without shutting down the economy that depends on it? The answer is now taking shape in the Brent-Spence Bridge Corridor Project.
Brent-Spence Corridor Project.
Brent-Spence Bridge Corridor Project.
A project now estimated at over $4 billion to finally solve one of America's longest-running infrastructure problems. To understand why this bridge matters so much, you have to look at the map. The Brent-Spence Bridge connects Cincinnati, Ohio, with Covington, Kentucky. But its real importance comes from the highways it carries. The bridge supports Interstate 71 and Interstate 75, two major north-south arteries of the American economy. These highways connect the manufacturing heartland of the Midwest with the rapidly growing economies of the southern United States. Every day, thousands of trucks loaded with auto parts, machinery, food, and consumer goods cross this single span of the Ohio River. And the numbers are staggering. The I-75 corridor alone is responsible for moving roughly 4% of the entire U.S. economy. That's hundreds of billions of dollars in goods moving through one corridor every year. And right in the middle of it sits a bridge that was never designed for that level of demand. The lanes are narrow, there are no emergency shoulders, and even a minor incident, something as simple as a stalled vehicle, can quickly trigger traffic backups for miles. Truck drivers know the crossing well. For decades, the Cincinnati Bridge has been known for one thing: gridlock. For years, everyone understood the problem. Engineers understood the problem. Transportation planners understood the problem. Truck drivers definitely understood the problem. But solving it turned out to be far more complicated. Because the bridge sits between two states, every proposal quickly became tangled in debates over funding, tolls, and environmental approvals. Studies were conducted, plans were drafted, committees were formed, but construction never started. Meanwhile, traffic kept increasing, the bridge kept aging, and the bottleneck kept getting worse. Some trucking companies even started routing their trucks far out of their way, or scheduling deliveries around the clock, just to avoid the congestion around Cincinnati. For nearly 2 decades, the project seemed trapped in an endless cycle of planning and delay. It actually took a dramatic event to finally shake things loose. In November 2020, 2 trucks collided on the bridge's lower deck, sparking a massive fire just before 3 a.m. Flames shot high into the night sky. For several tense hours, many people feared the bridge might collapse. In the end, the structure survived. Inspectors later confirmed that it remained structurally sound, but the fire served as a wake-up call. It showed just how vulnerable this critical link really was. The turning point came in 2021.
Finally, Infrastructure Week.
That year, the United States passed the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, one of the largest infrastructure investments in decades. As part of that program, the federal government committed $1.6 billion toward fixing the Brent-Spence Bridge corridor. But by 2026, rising construction costs pushed the total project estimate to nearly $4.4 billion, reflecting sharp increases in materials and labor across the industry. After years of debate, the project finally had the funding it needed. Construction responsibility was awarded to a Walsh-Kokosing joint venture, using a design-build model that allows engineers and contractors to work simultaneously. But replacing the bridge was never going to be simple. More than 160,000 vehicles depend on this crossing every day. Shutting it down would cripple one of the busiest freight corridors in North America. So engineers needed a solution that could expand capacity without stopping traffic. The solution was surprisingly elegant. Instead of demolishing the existing bridge, engineers decided to build another bridge beside it. The new structure, often called the companion bridge, will rise just west of the original Brent-Spence Bridge. It will be a double-deck cable-stayed bridge, built to modern safety standards and designed for a 100-year service life. But the real innovation lies in how traffic will be organized. The new bridge will carry long-distance interstate traffic, including freight trucks traveling along I-71 and I-75. Meanwhile, the original Brent-Spence Bridge will be rehabilitated and repurposed for local traffic moving between Cincinnati and Covington. In simple terms, the two types of traffic will finally be separated. Through traffic on one bridge, local traffic on the other. The idea sounds simple, but executing it at the center of one of America's busiest freight corridors is anything but simple. For much of 2024 and 2025, the project focused on preparation. Utility lines were relocated, old buildings were demolished, land was cleared for new highway approaches. To drivers passing through the area, the work sometimes looked slow. But behind the scenes, engineers were preparing the ground for a massive construction effort. And by March 2026, the project officially entered its heavy construction phase. Crews are now building the foundations that will support the new cable-stayed bridge. Major work is underway along both the Ohio and Kentucky riverbanks. These foundations will eventually hold the massive pylons that will carry the bridge's steel cables high above the river. All of this is happening while more than 160,000 vehicles continue crossing the existing bridge every single day. The scale of the project is enormous. Like many major infrastructure projects across the United States, the Brent-Spence corridor has also been affected by rising construction costs, highlighting the growing challenge of building large-scale projects today. The new bridge alone will require about 95 million pounds of structural steel. That's roughly the equivalent of 3 Brooklyn bridges. But the river crossing is only part of the story. The entire project stretches across an 8-mile transportation corridor, including redesigned interchanges, new ramps, and modern traffic management systems. One of the more delicate challenges involves Longworth Hall, a historic freight station from the old Baltimore and Ohio Railroad era. Engineers need to remove about 200 feet of the building to make space for the new bridge approaches. But they're salvaging more than 50,000 original bricks. Those bricks will be used to reconstruct the building's eastern wall so it appears exactly as it did before. It's a small detail, but it shows how this project is trying to respect the past while building for the future. There's another story unfolding alongside the construction, one about jobs. The Brent-Spence Bridge Corridor project is expected to require roughly 700 skilled trade workers, and there's a deliberate effort to connect local residents to those opportunities. A recent state grant is supporting programs that help minority and women workers enter the skilled trade. One of those programs, the Urban League's Building Futures program, trains workers for careers in construction and infrastructure. Graduates from that program are now earning around $36 an hour, working on projects just like this one. So, while cranes rise above the Ohio River, the project is also creating long-term career paths for people in the surrounding communities. And the Brent-Spence project is only one piece of a much larger transformation. Just east of the bridge, another major project is already underway. The Licking River Bridge, which connects Covington to Newport, is scheduled to close for at least 2 years beginning in early 2026. That project will add protected bike lanes and pedestrian connection, echoing the community-focused design of the Brent-Spence improvements. For a few years, much of this riverfront will look like one massive construction zone. But when the work is finished, the region will function very differently. For decades, the Brent-Spence Bridge symbolized everything wrong with America's aging infrastructure: an overloaded crossing, endless political delays. and a bottleneck slowing one of the country's most important freight corridors. Now, after more than 20 years of debate, construction has finally begun. The project succeeds. One of the worst transportation bottlenecks in the United States could finally disappear. And a bridge that once slowed the American economy might soon help keep it moving. Because sometimes fixing a national problem starts with solving one very stubborn bridge.